So, one of the reasons that I work on art, the main reason probably, is simply because I have to do it. It's one of those things that it's a compelling drive to capture an image. And that's one of the reasons that I started working on working on capturing likenesses of Rembrandt, because that is Rembrandt is a master artist whose work always, if you see it up close, and I've only seen a few Rembrandt pieces in museums, but if you see it up close, it kind of takes your breath away, because there is a soul and there is a being to the image that comes out of the brushstrokes, that you can see the emotion, you can see the life, you can see the person, or at least how Rembrandt saw the person. The self-portraits that he did over his lifetime are really a kind of a remarkable look at how he recorded what he was going through, whether he realized it or not at the time. Life was pretty hard in the 1600s. It was customary for families to lose multiple children. It was customary for, and I say customary, it was just normal that people did not live their entire lifespan. They didn't necessarily make it past infancy. And it's something that when we look at the history behind an artist like Rembrandt, we think, oh my God, he lost all these people in his family. But that was happening to everyone around them at the time. It really didn't matter who you were. I'm sure that there were some people who had better situations that made it possible for them to survive, but it still happened on every level of society. So it's not that it wasn't, I mean, his contemporaries were experiencing a lot of the same things that he experienced. But I think that what you see in Rembrandt's self-portraits is how his face changed over time. That's one of the things that, and particularly in 2021, we are a society in the United States that the numbers of people my age and older who are retiring or no longer able to work for whatever reason seems to be increasing, because the boomers, I'm part of the boomer generation, so with all the stigma that comes from being a boomer these days, it's at some point in your life you sit back and you go, oh, I'm of a certain age. And then all of a sudden it hits you, oh, I am of a certain age. And how do we deal with that aging process? But I think that Rembrandt did that through his art, because the images that he creates that show you the lines in his face, that show you the imperfections and the things that come just from living. Every person shows their experience in their faces. And Rembrandt recorded all of that change as it happened. So those particular self-portraits are both a great way to exercise your skills, to understand a little bit about how well he painted, actually, because there are images that set it up against a photograph today, and you will say, well, this could have been, because of the lighting, because of the way that it was captured, this could have been, had there been cameras around in the day that were like those we have today, with the lighting that was set up and how things were captured, and how he painted light, and how he painted in such a compressed palette. And that is what the study that I worked on last week. I took a palette. I am on a Discord channel with Cynics' group, and one of the things that the group has done is set up different artist assignments, and study a particular artist, and then take elements and do something, either one of the pieces, do a study of one of the pieces of that artist, or to take an element and do something of your own in your own style, but using some of the elements. And the artist that I was working on the particular assignment for this video had some images that were using a very compressed palette, mostly of say violet red to blues, and there were a very compressed range of values within that. So I picked the artist and that particular one particular image, and pulled from that artist's palette for the image the values that were I guess analog to the values that Rembrandt used in his painting. And so that was what I did. I studied the palette. I did a sketch, and I liked the result because it gave me an opportunity to look at how to compress a palette and to get something that really is an analog to what the artist originally did, in a way. Now, granted, the technique is going to be different because it's my technique. I have been painting in different media for a number of years, and so this, in August of last year, I was looking for something that I could do with my time. I work full time. I have a regular non-artistic job that I work full time at, and in the evenings and on the weekends I needed something to do. I already had some hobbies, but one of the things that I hadn't been I have an iPad, and I hadn't really used it for all of the things that it could be used for. So I discovered that there were people using an application or an app called Procreate with the iPad, and I had the iPad. I had an iPad Pro, and I had been mostly using it to watch YouTube videos in the evenings or whatever. And instead, I got an Apple Pencil and I started working in it. And so the video that you're watching is part of the series of my capturing my experience working in Procreate on the iPad. The point of this was this particular study. It made me think about why I do art, why I still do art, and what I have taken away from that, and the differences in working in a digital format versus traditional format. conclusion is that it's easy to use Procreate. It's easy to draw. It may not be easy to draw well or paint well. It just depends. And it's taken me, it took me a couple of months to really get into it. But now that I have been using it, I've been able to create some things that I feel I like. And that's the point. That's the point for me of art. If I like it and I'm satisfied, it doesn't matter if it's perfect, because imperfection is part of life and imperfection is part of art. And I think that I can hold myself up against how well I was at doing a particular thing in Procreate when I started back in August versus how well I'm doing it today, and not hold myself up against, say, Rembrandt, which is ridiculous anyway, but say, enjoy doing the pieces and enjoy the idea that I can do it in a small condo, which is, I've got about 600 square feet, give or take. And so it's not really practical for me to set up an easel and a paint set. And the iPad makes it so easy. I do also have a Canvas Pro 13 display tablet, which with this tool, where is it? This tool, the stylus that comes with it, and I am not really that fond of it. I have done a lot of work in Photoshop, and I really enjoy working with the Apple Pencil more than I do in drawing in Photoshop. I've tried Photoshop on the iPad, and it's pretty clunky. I think I'll give it another try, but Procreate has really intuitive interface, and it's very easy to use. It's somewhat similar to Photoshop, and obviously has copied some of the ideas from several different graphics applications. So it's easy to get into if you've ever used another graphic software. Anyway, I'll leave it here and just say, if you have any comments, please go ahead and leave them in the video or in the comments section, and I'll respond to your comments. If there's anything that you would like me to talk about, like ways to work on the iPad and Procreate, that could be a topic. There are plenty of others out there, but maybe how to set up a file if you're new to Procreate, something like that. And if you get the opportunity to or want to leave a comment, and also please subscribe. And if you liked this video, click the like button. All right, enough of that. Bye.